First Contact and Ultimatum. The vast expanse of space had always held mysteries beyond human comprehension. For centuries, humanity had gazed at the stars, wondering if they were alone in the universe. On a crisp autumn morning in 2047, that question was answered with resounding clarity. It began with a disruption in global communications. Satellites faltered, radio signals scrambled, and the world's screens flickered with static. Then, as suddenly as it had started, the interference cleared. In its place, on every device capable of receiving the signal, appeared the image of a being unlike anything humanity had ever seen. The alien was humanoid in shape, but its skin shimmered with an iridescent blue hue. Multiple eyes, each a different color, blinked in unison as it began to speak. Its voice, translated into every known human language simultaneously, was both melodious and chilling. People of Earth, the alien began, "I am Ambassador Zixlian of the Galactic Confederation. Your planet has been noticed by our explorers, and we have come to make you an offer." The world held its breath. First contact, the moment humanity had both dreamed of and feared, had arrived. But the next words from Ambassador Zixlian shattered any hope of a peaceful exchange. "Your oceans contain a resource vital to our civilization's survival. We require immediate and unrestricted access to harvest your waters. Compliance will result in your species being granted protectorate status within our confederation. Refusal." The alien's eyes narrowed. "Refusal is not advised." As the transmission ended, chaos erupted across the globe. Governments scrambled to convene emergency meetings, military leaders rushed to their command centers, and civilians took to the streets in a mixture of panic and defiance. In Washington, D.C., President Elena Rodriguez sat at the head of a long table in a secure underground bunker. Around her were the leaders of the world's most powerful nations, connected via secure holographic projections. The tension in the room was palpable. "They're asking us to give up our oceans," President Rodriguez said, her voice tight with controlled anger. "Our oceans, which cover 70% of our planet's surface, which produce more than half of the world's oxygen, which regulate our climate and provide food for billions. They might as well be asking us to give up the air we breathe." Chinese Premier Lai Wei nodded grimly. "We cannot acquiesce to their demands. But neither can we ignore the threat they pose. Their technology is clearly far beyond our own." Russian President Anastasia Volkov leaned forward, her eyes blazing. "Then we fight. Humanity has faced extinction-level threats before. We've survived ice ages, plagues, and our own destructive tendencies. We will survive this too." The debate raged for hours. Some argued for negotiation, hoping to buy time. Others pushed for immediate military action, fearing any delay would only weaken Earth's position. As the discussion continued, reports flooded in from around the world. Massive alien ships had taken up positions in Earth's orbit, visible to the naked eye as new, ominous stars. Smaller craft darted through the atmosphere, seemingly conducting surveys of the planet's surface. There were no acts of aggression, but the message was clear. The Galactic Confederation had the power to take what they wanted. As dawn broke over the eastern seaboard of the United States, President Rodriguez called for silence in the war room. The world's leaders turned to her, awaiting her words. "We've debated, we've argued, and we've considered every option," she began. "But in the end, there's only one choice we can make. We cannot surrender our oceans. Not only would it mean the death of our planet's ecosystem, but it would also mean surrendering our sovereignty, our dignity, and our future as a species." She paused, looking each leader in the eye before continuing. "I propose that we, the nations of Earth, unite as we never have before. We will pool our resources, our knowledge, and our strength. We will stand against this threat not as individual countries, but as one human civilization." The room erupted in a chorus of agreement. For the first time in human history, all nations would fight as one. President Rodriguez turned to the military leaders present. What are our options for defense? Admiral Hiroshi Tanaka of the Japanese Maritime Self-Defense Force stepped forward. Madam President, distinguished leaders, our conventional forces are no match for their technology. However, we have been preparing for this day. He activated a holographic display in the center of the table. It showed schematics for advanced weapon systems and defense platforms. Project Poseidon, he explained, a joint initiative between the world's leading military powers and private aerospace companies. We've been developing technologies based on theoretical physics and reverse-engineered alien tech from crashed UFOs. The leaders leaned in, studying the display with a mixture of hope and skepticism. These are untested, Admiral Tanaka admitted, but they represent our best chance at defending our planet. President Rodriguez nodded. Then we have no choice. Activate Project Poseidon and send a message to Ambassador Zixlian. Tell them. She took a deep breath, the weight of her next words heavy on her shoulders. Tell them that humanity respectfully declines their offer. The oceans of Earth are not for sale or taking. We stand united in our decision. As the message was transmitted to the alien fleet, the leaders of Earth began to mobilize their forces. Factories were repurposed for wartime production. Scientists were called upon to accelerate their research, and a global draft was instituted. In every corner of the world, humanity prepared for the greatest fight in its history. The oceans, which had so often divided nations, now united them in a common cause. As reports of the alien ultimatum spread, something remarkable happened. Age-old conflicts were set aside. Borders became meaningless, and the human spirit of resilience and determination burned brighter than ever before. In the following days, the skies above Earth became crowded with alien ships. The Galactic Confederation's fleet hung like a sword of Damocles over the planet, a constant reminder of the threat they faced. But instead of cowering, humanity looked to the stars with defiance. On beaches across the world, millions gathered to form human chains, a symbolic protection of the oceans that the aliens sought to plunder. In laboratories and workshops, inventors worked tirelessly on new technologies to defend their home. And in military bases around the globe, soldiers trained for a war unlike any they had ever imagined. As the first week after the ultimatum drew to a close, humanity held its breath. They had made their choice. Now they could only wait for the Galactic Confederation's response and prepare for the battle that would determine the fate of their world. The oceans, vast and blue, continued their eternal dance, oblivious to the conflict brewing above. In their depths, life continued as it had for millions of years. But on the surface and in the skies above, a storm was gathering. Humanity stood on the brink of a war that would either lead to their extinction or propel them to the stars. The stage was set. The pieces were in motion. And as the sun set on another tense day, the people of Earth looked to the sky, ready to fight for their home, their oceans, and their future. Preparing for battle. The days following humanity's refusal of the Galactic Confederation's ultimatum were a flurry of activity unlike anything the world had ever seen. The once divided nations of Earth worked in unprecedented harmony, pooling resources and expertise in a desperate race against time. In the heart of Silicon Valley, a coalition of the world's brightest minds gathered in a hastily constructed research facility. Dr. Aisha Patel, a prodigy in quantum physics, stood before a holographic display of the alien fleet. Their technology operates on principles we're only beginning to understand, she explained to the assembled scientists and military personnel. But we're not starting from scratch. The advancements we've made in quantum entanglement and dark matter manipulation give us a fighting chance. Across the room, Dr. Chen Wei, a renowned expert in marine biology, interjected. We need to consider the oceans themselves as part of our defense strategy. The aliens want our waters. Let's use that against them. The idea sparked a flurry of discussions. Within hours, plans were being drawn up to use Earth's oceans as both a weapon and a shield. Meanwhile, in shipyards and aerospace facilities around the world, Construction was underway on humanity's new defense fleet. Traditional naval vessels were being retrofitted with experimental technology, while new craft designed specifically for the coming conflict took shape. At the Norfolk Naval Shipyard, Captain Sarah O'Neill watched as workers swarmed over the U.S. Defiant, a next-generation destroyer that would serve as the prototype for Earth's new naval defense force. "How's she coming along?" she asked Chief Engineer Marcus Riley. Riley wiped sweat from his brow, his eyes never leaving the ship. "We're pushing the boundaries of what's possible, Captain. The quantum shielding is stable, and the dark matter cannons are operational. But," he hesitated. "But what, Chief?" "But we've never tested these systems in actual combat. We're betting everything on theories and simulations." O'Neill placed a hand on the engineer's shoulder. "Sometimes that's all we've got. But I trust in human ingenuity. We've come this far. We'll figure out the rest." As military preparations continued, the civilian population mobilized in ways that would have seemed impossible just weeks before. Former rivals in the tech industry joined forces, repurposing social media networks into a global early warning system. Fishermen and oceanographers worked side by side, mapping the seas in unprecedented detail to give Earth's defenders every possible advantage. In orbit, the International Space Station had been hastily evacuated and repurposed. Now it served as humanity's forward operating base, a precarious outpost in the shadow of the alien armada. Colonel Yuki Tanaka floated in the observation module, her eyes fixed on the ethereal ships of the Galactic Confederation. "Status report," she commanded, not turning from the view. Lieutenant James Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "All systems nominal, Colonel. The cloaking field is holding, and we're gathering terabytes of data on the alien fleet." Tanaka nodded, a grim smile on her face. "Keep at it. Every bit of intelligence we gather might make the difference between victory and extinction." Back on Earth, in the mountains of Switzerland, a different kind of preparation was underway. The world's digital infrastructure was being fortified against potential alien cyberattacks. Lena Mueller, a former Black Hat hacker turned cybersecurity expert, led a team of programmers in creating the most sophisticated firewall in human history. "They might have tech that's centuries ahead of ours," Lena said, her fingers flying over her keyboard, "but they've never faced human hackers before. Let's show them why we're the species that turns cyber into a form of warfare." As the first month after the ultimatum drew to a close, humanity's preparations faced their first test. A small alien craft breached Earth's atmosphere, heading for the Indian Ocean. The response was immediate. Squadron leader Raj Patel led a flight of next-generation fighters to intercept. "Remember your training," he told his pilots as they approached the intruder. "We're not just defending our homes. We're showing these aliens what humanity is capable of." The ensuing skirmish was brief but intense. Earth's fighters, equipped with technology barely out of the theoretical stage, managed to drive off the alien craft. As the intruder retreated to the safety of its fleet, a cheer went up from monitoring stations around the world. It wasn't a decisive victory, but it proved that humanity could hold its own. In Washington, D.C., President Rodriguez received the news of the skirmish with cautious optimism. "It's a start," she told her advisors, "but the real battle is yet to come. We need to be ready for anything." Her words proved prophetic. As Earth celebrated its small victory, the Galactic Confederation was preparing its response. The alien ships in orbit began to move, forming new patterns. It was clear that the next phase of the conflict was about to begin. In laboratories, factories, and military bases around the world, the pace of preparation intensified. Humanity had drawn first blood, but the war for Earth's oceans was far from over. The next alien move could come at any moment, and the fate of the planet hung in the balance. As night fell, citizens around the world gathered on beaches and shorelines. They lit candles, sang songs, and shared stories, drawing strength from each other and from the oceans they were fighting to protect. The waters lapped at the shores, a constant reminder of what was at stake. In orbit, the alien fleet loomed, a silent threat against the star-studded backdrop of space. But Earth was no longer defenseless. In every corner of the globe, in the depths of the oceans, and in the orbit above, humanity stood ready. The preparations were as complete as they could be. Now, all that remained was to face whatever the Galactic Confederation would throw at them next. As a new day dawned, the people of Earth steeled themselves for the battle to come, united in their determination to protect their home, their oceans, and their future among the stars. The initial assault. The attack came at dawn, a coordinated strike that shook the very foundations of Earth. The skies ignited with the fire of alien weaponry as the Galactic Confederation launched its assault, clearly intent on crushing human resistance swiftly and decisively. Massive energy beams lanced down from the orbiting fleet, targeting military installations and defense grids across the globe. The oceans churned as gigantic alien vessels breached the surface, their strange geometries defying human understanding. In the White House Situation Room, President Rodriguez watched the chaos unfold on multiple screens. "Status report," she demanded, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We're taking heavy losses, Madam President," General Marcus Blackwood reported grimly. "But our new defense systems are holding in key areas. Project Poseidon is online and operational." As if on cue, the screens showed a massive form rising from the depths of the Pacific. The Leviathan, Earth's first deep-sea battle platform, broke the surface in a spray of water. Its hull gleamed with an unearthly sheen, the result of reverse-engineered alien technology. Commander Zhou Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "Leviathan is engaging hostiles. Quantum shields at full power. Dark matter cannons charged and ready." The battle that ensued was like nothing humanity had ever experienced. The Leviathan moved with impossible grace for its size, its advanced propulsion systems allowing it to dance between the alien energy beams. Its own weapons flared to life, lancing out with concentrated bursts of dark energy that tore through the alien ship's defenses. In the skies above, Earth's newly christened Aerospace Defense Force clashed with swarms of alien fighters. Wing Commander Alejandro Rice led the charge, his voice calm over the radio as he coordinated the human counterattack. "Remember your training," he told his pilots. "Use the atmosphere to your advantage. They may have advanced tech, but we know our sky better than anyone." The human fighters, though outnumbered, proved remarkably effective. Their ability to seamlessly transition between atmospheric and low-orbit flight caught the alien pilots off guard. Sophisticated AI systems, developed in the frantic weeks of preparation, allowed Earth's pilots to predict and counter alien maneuvers with uncanny accuracy. As the battle raged on, it became clear that humanity's preparations had not been in vain. Though the aliens had the advantage of superior technology, they found themselves facing an enemy far more resourceful and determined than they had anticipated. In orbit, the repurposed International Space Station served as humanity's eyes and ears. Colonel Yuki Tanaka coordinated the global defense effort, using the station's advanced sensors to identify weak points in the alien formation. "Attention all Earth Defense Forces," her voice rang out across secure channels. "We've detected a vulnerability in the alien flagship's shielding. Transmitting coordinates now. All available units, concentrate fire on that point." The response was immediate. From land. The response was immediate. From land, sea, and air, Earth's forces converged on the designated target. The alien flagship, a colossal vessel that dwarfed even the largest human spacecraft, suddenly found itself under concentrated assault. Dark matter cannons from the Leviathan combined with electromagnetic pulses from land-based installations and a barrage of quantum-tipped missiles from aerospace fighters. The alien shield flickered, strained, and finally shattered in a spectacular display of light and energy. A cheer went up from defense stations around the world as the flagship listed in orbit, clearly damaged. It was a pivotal moment, the first significant blow against the Galactic Confederation's seemingly invincible armada. But the aliens were far from defeated. Enraged by the attack on their flagship, they intensified their assault. New waves of fighters poured from their carrier ships, and strange, octopus-like machines began to descend into Earth's oceans. Dr. Chen Wei, monitoring the situation from an underwater research station, noticed something odd about these new invaders. "They're not just attacking," she reported, her voice tight with concern. "They're harvesting. These machines are extracting something from our oceans." The revelation sent a chill through the human forces. This wasn't just an invasion. It was the beginning of the very extraction the Galactic Confederation had demanded. In response, humanity unleashed its next line of defense. From secret bases around the world, swarms of autonomous underwater drones were released. Designed to work in concert with marine life, these drones used advanced biomimicry to blend in with schools of fish and pods of whales. As the alien harvesting machines plunged deeper into the oceans, they found themselves ambushed by these unexpected guardians. The drones latched onto the invaders, interfering with their systems and forcing them back to the surface. Meanwhile, in low Earth orbit, a daring plan was put into action. The team of astronauts, led by the veteran spacefarer Commander Javier Ortiz, prepared to board the damaged alien flagship. "This is our chance to gather critical intelligence," Ortiz told his team as they suited up. "Remember, we're not just fighting for Earth, we're fighting for the future of humanity among the stars." Their spacecraft, a sleek vessel that combined the best of human engineering with reversed-engineered alien tech, detached from the space station and made its way towards the flagship. Using the chaos of the ongoing battle as cover, they managed to dock with the alien ship undetected. What they found inside would change the course of the war. As Ortiz and his team made their way through the alien vessel, they discovered something unexpected. The ship's interior was filled with vast chambers containing what appeared to be cryogenic pods. Inside each pod was a different alien species, all in a state of suspended animation. "My God," breathed Lieutenant Sarah Chen, the team's xenobiologist. "This isn't just a warship, it's an Orc." Before they could investigate further, alarms blared throughout the ship. They had been discovered. As alien security forces converged on their location, Ortiz made a split-second decision. "Download everything you can," he ordered his team. "We need to get this information back to Earth." In a heart-pounding race against time, the human team fought their way back to their ship, carrying with them data that could unlock the mysteries of the Galactic Confederation. As they disengaged from the flagship and sped back towards the space station, the battle below took another turn. The Leviathan, engaged in a titanic struggle with 3 alien dreadnoughts, activated its ultimate weapon. A massive vortex began to form in the ocean around the platform. The swirling waters generated an electromagnetic field of incredible power. As the alien ships tried to retreat, they found themselves caught in the vortex's pull. "This is Commander Chen," came the transmission from the Leviathan. "Initiating Operation Charybdis." The vortex intensified, its power amplified by the dark matter technology integrated into the Leviathan. In a spectacular display of humanity's newfound capabilities, the 3 alien dreadnoughts were dragged beneath the waves, crushed by the pressure of the deep ocean. As the first day of the assault drew to a close, both sides pulled back to regroup and assess the situation. The Galactic Confederation had clearly underestimated humanity's capabilities and resolve. What they had expected to be a swift subjugation had turned into a costly battle. Humanity, for its part, had bloodied the nose of a vastly superior foe. But the war was far from over. As world leaders convened to discuss the next steps, the information retrieved from the alien flagship was rushed to decryption experts. In labs and command centers around the world, people worked tirelessly to unlock the secrets contained in the stolen data. Little did they know that what they would discover would change not just the course of the war, but humanity's understanding of its place in the universe. As night fell, the skies above Earth remained lit by the ongoing skirmishes between human and alien forces. In the oceans below, the autonomous drones continued their vigil, protecting the waters that had become the center of this interstellar conflict. Humanity had survived the initial assault, but greater challenges lay ahead. The true nature of the Galactic Confederation's mission was yet to be revealed, and with it, the ultimate test of humanity's strength, ingenuity, and unity. Counterattack and revelations. As the sun rose on the 5th day of the conflict, Earth's leaders gathered in a secure underground facility to assess the situation and plan their next move. The room was tense, filled with a mix of exhaustion and determination. President Rodriguez stood at the head of the table, her eyes scanning the faces of military commanders, scientists, and world leaders. "What have we learned from the data retrieved from the alien flagship?" she asked, cutting straight to the heart of the matter. Dr. Aisha Patel stepped forward, her holographic display flickering to life. "Madam President, distinguished colleagues, what we've discovered is extraordinary." She paused, allowing the gravity of her words to sink in. The Galactic Confederation isn't a single, unified entity as we first believed. It's a collective of refugee species, fleeing from a catastrophe of cosmic proportions. The room erupted in murmurs of disbelief and confusion. Dr. Patel continued, her voice rising above the din. "According to the data, their home galaxies are being consumed by a phenomenon they call the void. A massive, expanding region of space where the fundamental laws of physics are breaking down." Images flashed across the holographic display. Entire star systems vanishing, galaxies warping and twisting in impossible ways. The assembled leaders watched in stunned silence. The Confederation is desperately seeking new homes for billions of displaced beings, Dr. Patel explained. Earth's oceans contain unique properties that could potentially stabilize their Ark ships and sustain their diverse populations. President Rodriguez leaned forward, her brow furrowed. "Are you saying they're not here to conquer us, but to survive?" "In essence, yes," Dr. Patel nodded. "But in their desperation, they've adopted an aggressive, militaristic approach. They view less advanced species as expendable in the face of their crisis." The revelation cast the conflict in a new light. Humanity was not facing a traditional invasion, but a complex refugee crisis on a cosmic scale. General Blackwood, his face grim, spoke up. "This doesn't change the fact that they're still trying to take our oceans by force. We need to show them that humanity won't be sacrificed for their survival." "Agreed," President Rodriguez nodded. "But this information gives us an opportunity. If we can open a dialogue, make them understand that we're not primitives to be conquered but potential allies." "With all due respect, Madam President," interrupted Admiral Tanaka, "they've shown no interest in dialogue so far. We need to speak in a language they understand." Strength. A heated debate ensued, with arguments for diplomacy and continued military action flying back and forth. Finally, President Rodriguez raised her hand for silence. "We'll do both," she declared. "We'll launch a counteroffensive to push them back, demonstrate our strength, but we'll also attempt to open communications, armed with our new understanding of their situation." The plan was set in motion immediately. Earth's forces, emboldened by their initial successes and armed with new insights into alien technology, prepared for a daring assault. The counterattack began with a series of precise strikes against the Confederation's harvesting operations. Swarms of advanced drones, piloted by AI systems that learned and adapted at incredible speeds, targeted the alien extraction machines with surgical precision. Simultaneously, a task force led by the Leviathan emerged from the depths of the Atlantic. But instead of engaging in direct combat, they activated a newly developed weapon, a massive sonic pulse calibrated to the exact frequency that disrupted the Confederation's shields. As the alien defenses flickered and failed, Earth's aerospace fighters swooped in. Led by Wing Commander Reyes, they executed a series of maneuvers that herded the Confederation's ships into a predetermined zone. "All units, this is Stargazer Actual," Colonel Tanaka's voice rang out from the orbital command station. "Operation Lighthouse is go. I repeat, Operation Lighthouse is go." Suddenly, Massive pillars of light erupted from strategic points around the globe. These were quantum beacons, the product of humanity's accelerated scientific advancement. They created a containment field that trapped a significant portion of the Confederation fleet. With the aliens corralled and their harvesting operations in disarray, President Rodriguez seized the moment. A transmission was sent to the Confederation flagship, not in any Earth language, but in the common galactic code deciphered from the stolen data. People of the Galactic Confederation, her message began, broadcast on all frequencies. We understand your plight. We know of the void that threatens your existence. But know this, Earth and its oceans are not unoccupied resources for you to seize. We are a sentient, spacefaring civilization, and we propose an alternative to this conflict. The response was not immediate. For tense hours, the containment field hummed with energy, while Earth's forces stood ready for any response. Then, finally, a reply came. A new figure appeared on screens around the world. Not the militant ambassador Zixlian, but a different alien. This one appeared older, its iridescent skin dulled with age. I am High Counselor Vexalia of the Galactic Confederation. The alien spoke, its voice carrying a weight of authority and weariness. Your demonstration has made it clear that we have gravely misjudged your species. We are prepared to listen. It was a pivotal moment. As diplomats and xenolinguists rushed to prepare for the first real dialogue with the Confederation, Earth's military remained on high alert. Trust had yet to be established, and the threat of resumed hostilities loomed large. But beneath the tension, a current of hope began to flow. The revelation of the Confederation's true nature opened up possibilities that no one had considered before. Could humanity, in defending its own existence, find a way to aid a galaxy's worth of refugees? Could Earth's oceans hold the key not just to human survival, but to the salvation of countless alien species? As negotiations began, scientists on both sides started to exchange information about the void and its effects. The combined knowledge of Earth's physicists and the Confederation's advanced understanding of cosmic phenomena led to breakthroughs that would have been impossible for either side alone. Yet challenges remained. Hardliners within the Confederation pushed for a continuation of the original plan, arguing that the needs of their people outweighed the rights of a single planet. On Earth, fear and mistrust of the aliens ran deep, with many calling for their complete expulsion regardless of their refugee status. As the delicate dance of diplomacy and scientific cooperation unfolded, both humanity and the Galactic Confederation stood at a crossroads. The decisions made in the coming days would determine not just the fate of Earth and its oceans, but potentially the future of life in the galaxy itself. The war for Earth's oceans had evolved into something far more complex, a test of humanity's compassion, ingenuity, and vision for its place among the stars. As the negotiations continued and research into the void intensified, the people of Earth looked to the skies with a mix of apprehension and hope, wondering what the next chapter in this cosmic drama would bring. The final stand. As negotiations between Earth and the Galactic Confederation entered their second week, tensions remained high. Progress was slow, hampered by mistrust on both sides and the looming threat of the void. Earth's oceans, still the center of the conflict, churned restlessly as if sensing the weight of their importance to both civilizations. In a secure conference room deep beneath Geneva, President Rodriguez faced High Counselor Vexalia across a table laden with holographic displays and translation devices. The air was thick with the scent of alien pheromones and human anxiety. "We understand your need," Rodriguez said, her voice firm but empathetic. "But you must understand that we cannot simply hand over our oceans. They're vital to our planet's ecosystem, to our very survival." Vexalia's multiple eyes blinked in a pattern that the human diplomats had learned to recognize as frustration. "And you must understand that without access to the unique properties of your waters, billions of our people will perish. The void consumes everything in its path. We have already lost too much." As the two leaders continued their debate, alarms suddenly blared throughout the facility. A junior officer burst into the room, his face pale. "Madam President, Counselor, we have a situation. A rogue faction of the Confederation fleet has broken away. They're mounting an attack on multiple coastal cities." The fragile peace shattered in an instant. As both human and alien leaders rushed to control their respective forces, chaos erupted across the globe. The rogue Confederation ships, led by the militant ambassador Zixlian, launched a desperate, all-out assault on Earth's major oceanic regions. In the skies above New York, Rio de Janeiro, Shanghai, and countless other coastal metropolises, the final battle for Earth's oceans began. Humanity's defenders, their skills honed by weeks of conflict, rose to meet the threat. The Leviathan and its sister ships emerged from the depths, their weapons blazing with dark energy. Wing Commander Rice led squadrons of fighters in daring attacks, weaving between skyscrapers to outmaneuver the alien craft. "Remember your training," he called to his pilots. "We're not just fighting for our cities, we're fighting for our whole damn planet." On the ground, civilians who had been through weeks of drills rushed to shelters. But many stayed to fight, using makeshift weapons and sheer determination to combat alien landing parties. The spirit of humanity, its refusal to yield in the face of overwhelming odds, shone brightly in these moments of crisis. As the battle raged, Dr. Aisha Patel made a breakthrough in her research on the void. Racing against time, she contacted the command center where President Rodriguez and High Counselor Vexalia were coordinating their response to the crisis. "Madam President, Counselor," Patel's voice crackled over the comm, breathless with excitement and fear. "We found a solution, but it's going to take both of us to implement it. The unique properties of Earth's oceans, combined with the Confederation's quantum fold technology, can create a barrier against the void." The implications were staggering. If successful, this could save not just Earth or the Confederation refugees, but countless worlds in the void's path. However, the plan required an immediate cessation of hostilities and the full cooperation of both species. In orbit, Colonel Tanaka received the transmission and understood the gravity of the situation. Without waiting for orders, she opened a channel to all Earth and Confederation forces. "This is Colonel Yuki Tanaka of Earth's Orbital Command. All units, ceasefire immediately. I repeat, ceasefire. We have a chance to end this, to save everyone, but only if we work together." For a moment, the battle seemed to pause as both humans and aliens grappled with the command. Then, slowly, weapons fell silent. In the sudden quiet, the words of Dr. Patel's plan were relayed to all combatants. Ambassador Zixlian, hearing the proposal, finally understood the folly of his actions. In a move that would be remembered for generations, he ordered his rogue fleet to stand down. "We came here seeking salvation," he broadcast to his forces. "Perhaps, in our desperation, we forgot that salvation often comes from cooperation, not conquest." As the fighting ceased, a new kind of activity began. Human scientists worked feverishly alongside alien engineers, combining their technologies in ways never before imagined. The oceans themselves seemed to come alive, glowing with an ethereal light as the combined Earth Confederation plan was put into action. Massive generators, hastily constructed using alien tech and human ingenuity, were positioned at strategic points around the globe. The Leviathan and other seafaring vessels formed a network, channeling the ocean's energy. In orbit, Confederation ships linked with human satellites, creating a web of quantum connections. As the system powered up, a shimmering barrier began to form around the Earth. It expanded rapidly, encompassing the Moon and stretching out into the solar system. Humanity held its breath as the barrier reached its full extent, a gossamer shield protecting not just Earth, but a significant portion of space around it. Then, at the edge of the solar system, they saw it, the void, a writhing mass of nothingness that consumed light and matter alike. It approached the barrier, testing it, probing for weaknesses. For a heart-stopping moment, it seemed as if the shield might fail, The barrier flickered, straining under the assault of unreality. But then, drawing strength from the combined will of two civilizations, fighting for survival, it held firm. The void, for the first time since it began its consumption of the galaxy, was stopped. A cheer went up from every corner of the Earth and from the ships of the Confederation. Humanity and their once enemies had done the impossible. They had found a way to coexist, to combine their strengths, and in doing so, had created a bastion against cosmic annihilation. In the aftermath, as the dust settled on battered cities and the oceans calmed from their exertion, a new era dawned. The Galactic Confederation, humbled by humanity's resilience and awed by their ingenuity, extended an offer of true alliance. Earth, its horizons expanded beyond imagination, accepted. Together, they began the work of extending the barrier, of finding ways to reclaim the worlds lost to the void. It would be the work of generations, but it was work filled with hope and shared purpose. As the first joint human-alien crews set out to explore the stars, they carried with them the lessons learned in those fateful weeks. The oceans of Earth, which had almost torn two civilizations apart, now served as a symbol of the power of cooperation and the indomitable spirit of life itself. And so, humanity took its place among the stars, not as conquerors or the conquered, but as equals in a grand alliance. The war for Earth's oceans had become the crucible in which a new future was forged, a future where the combined strength of diverse species stood firm against the darkness of the void, ready to face whatever challenges the universe might bring.